Great. So thanks for joining everyone and welcome to the Tag Contributor Strategy meeting. So we did our little introductions for the people who are new, so that's great. Doesn't look like we have any extra items to discuss despite except the project updates, or is there anything that someone did not add and we should talk about before we dive into working groups?
If we're run
And maybe
through
is
to
there...
once we
Go ahead.
run through to the end and there's time left, I'll throw in a topic.
Okay,
Let's
great.
start with
And
the updates.
And I don't know, Ed, I know you cannot talk, but if there was anything you wanted to discuss, just ask that question and then in the chat show. Well, let's just get, or I think Ed is typing, so maybe we'll wait for a little bit. Yes, okay. Okay. Okay, I'm helping with governance of OpenEBS, and I'd like to participate broader. Emily Fox suggested I participate here. Think that's great.
Perfect. Yeah, we need some help with governance, as we'll talk about in the updates. So maybe we can chat in the Tag Contributor Strategy Slack channel in between meetings. I think Josh and I would love to talk to you. Cool.
Okay, and then I think we can start with exactly that topic. The governance working group has...
Okay. Well, I filled in the details there. So a few things is we're having our meeting next week because the actual regularly scheduled meeting was July 4th, which was not going to work. And we also missed last month's meeting because it was during an event. I think it was during the
Kubernetes birthday.
And we really need to have a meeting because we have stuff. At this point, governance review is now officially part of applying for graduation. And we suddenly have a backlog of governance reviews as the TOC has converted over to the new process. So starting in early May, we suddenly got slammed with 8 governance review requests at once, compared with having done like maybe 4 over the whole history of the working group. So we're a little backlogged. If anybody is interested in getting up to speed on helping out with the occasional governance reviews, even if you're not doing it on the regular, that would be awesome, because it is something we need to have done and will be a continuous thing. I finished the KubeEdge review and I need somebody else to actually review it and approve it so that we can merge it.
Okay, that's probably, I assume that's me. I'll do that.
Yeah, because Ali's still out on vacation.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And with you both working at Red Hat, I don't think it's good to have somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're regarded as pretty neutral in KubeEdge, but I don't think there's a company angle to that one. But
okay, I'll get that next week.
But more importantly, Ali won't actually do it for a couple of weeks because he'll be gone. So the yeah. And I mean, I will say having the template that Ali created for the governance review issue is tremendously helpful. It really reduces the number of things we have to look up. I do want, and we'll discuss this next week, but I want to come up with ways to make writing the governance review less work for us. I feel like I do a lot of jumping back and forth in the document and duplicating information, etc. And you know, when we're backlogged, we need to figure out ways to streamline it. And that's kind of it for governance. Aside from what Ed came here for and can't talk about because he can't do audio. So Ed, maybe you can join us next week with audio on, which would be awesome.
Yeah, and both Ed and Sandeep in the chat have offered to help out with some governance stuff.
Oh,
So
okay, that would be
I-
awesome.
Yeah, so I think we just need to get some materials to both of them because we have
Yeah.
some example reviews that you can have a look at as a starting point and
We have about a
and some
50%
documents.
complete document that's a set of instructions too. So
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no follow-up questions, we move to the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Working Group. So we did create and publish a Deaf and Hard of Hearing accessibility checklist for event organizers. That was a very good idea from someone in our community. Events teams work with checklist all day long. So just because you may remember the big best practices, there's a lot of context, why, and so on. But that's like not very user friendly to actually it's good to understand why what is needed, but it's not really helpful if you need to check off a list and see what needs to be done. So there is now like a nice CTA and the best practices, download your checklist. And so I think it's a very solid resource. And so what we were saying, we're really good about building that, sending that to the to KubeCon, talking with the Linux Foundation's events team, but we haven't reached out to anyone else, right? So now we're building a list of relevant conferences, and then we want to send the best practices to them to the email. And then because not everyone reads the emails, or kind of, it's always hard, right? We said like, let's do email and social media posts and kind of try to see like to get to the right people. It's always a little bit of a gamble, but yeah, we do want any event organizer actually to know about it and use it and know what accessibility actually means. And then the CNCF finally published our KubeCon video on YouTube. You can see the link there. And we also broken it up in 3 parts and have a little LinkedIn post for each of them, which is great for awareness, right? It's always kind of like people see it in their feed, and it's really important for people to see it. Deaf people are part of this community. And so like I've mentioned before, that I've been working on a Linux Foundation-wide accessibility DEIA initiative. So continued that, talking with the Linux Foundation, things are moving forward. It's a big thing and moving slowly, but I think it needs to move slowly just because it's important to get things right. And also tried to talk with our team for the working group kind of has like, of course, like a key role in that, because there would be one working group within that bigger initiative. And so was trying to see like what the appetite is to refocusing a little bit more on advocacy. So we started out with advocacy with the best practices for conferences. But then we were focused very much on visibility and so on, which is also important. But like I think like the advocacy part, like the educating the community on what does accessibility mean and how do you implement it, is really key. So we're kind of having these discussions internally with a core team, and Sandeep is one of them. So he knows all about it. And the idea is to open it up then to the rest of the team very soon, also creating a advocacy channel, because like in the channel, it gets really busy and we're trying to have discussions and it's just like, and someone has a comment and posts something. So we wanted to have like a dedicated channel to have these very important discussions. So it's focused only on that, and all the exciting stuff and social media and whatever is in the regular chat. So that's coming up. And of course, it's all kind of a part of this bigger idea. And also we're trying to create like experiment with guidelines to have effective async discussions. It's just so difficult. We have people all over the world. And then also like sometimes when we do the meetings with interpreters, things get lost in translation. And it's like, so I think the best way is really to have these async, but we're trying to say like, how do you do that when things get lost? So we kind of have like a little proposal and are trying that out, which is so key to, especially for the advocacy group, because these are very, very important discussions with a lot of follow-up. So experimenting with that as well. And so that's all I had. Any questions or comments before we move to mentoring?
Yes, just one thing. I think the proposal by Catherine is really good. And Emily Fox has given a lot of very good comments. And I have to say that Catherine has been the heart and soul of the deaf and hard of hearing working group. She has been working like incredibly hard. It's very, very hard effort that she's working to try this. And I think no amount of thanks or gratitude would do justice to the amount of effort she has put, and she is still doing it. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Sandeep, for being my biggest champion. Yeah. So great. So I think we can move to mentoring then.
Hello, everyone. I guess first up, we have shifted the mentoring working group meeting. We're actually putting it in line with all the rest of the tag contributor strategy meetings. We have claimed the third Thursday of the month at this time zone, time slot. So 10 a.m. Pacific time starting in August. And I have updated the public calendar to reflect that as well. So the next mentoring working group meeting will be August 15th. We are in the middle, almost exactly, of Google Summer of Code. We have, I believe, 11 projects. Evals are due, I believe, tomorrow. In fact, no, they're due tomorrow. And we have all but one in so far. We've actually got 2 projects have made them extended their project a little bit, so they're on a little bit of a different cycle, but things are looking good on the GSOC front. LFX term 2, we're coming up on the midterm, which is good. Things are looking good there. And then term 3, we have opened up for project proposals, and that closes on July 23rd. And if we don't have a social post selected yet, I'd like to suggest the discussion, the announcement discussion, because I haven't gotten any PRs in with project ideas. And I know that you folks have communities that are that include maintainers, and so it'd be helpful to get the word out because there's a couple of weeks left to get some projects in there. I have already sent out the email to the maintainers, but I'm not entirely sure of the open rate for CNCF mass emails. So if we could get some help, that would be helpful. Mentorship monitor, again, GSOC is looking good, and we need to do a data update to get the term 2 mentees in before the midterm evaluations. Last term, I found the mentorship monitor very helpful for giving me a cue to reach out to mentors if the mentees look like they haven't been working in the open or they don't appear to be working at all. I apologize for the noise over on the side. If you can hear that, I've got, I think, some dump truck out in the alley here. So, but I believe that is my update. Any questions, comments, concerns? I want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes with that meeting move.
No, given that I was the one to suggest it, it just makes it easier, right? I mean, 10
Yeah,
a.m. Pacific is not necessarily ideal for everybody, but having all 4 active committees in the same time slot makes it certainly easier for people to plan.
Mahir, you had your hand up?
Yeah, Nate, actually, you mentioned something related to LFX and 23rd July, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes.
So, like, what is it like? Are you like pushing some projects into the third term, or is it like something else?
So the way the program works is we reach out to the projects and we ask if they have any work that they would like to have done that they think can be done by junior engineers or second, third, fourth year university student, that kind of level of experience that they think can be done with a bit of coaching in the course of 12 weeks. And so right now we are in the phase where we're reaching out to the project and asking them to make proposals for the third term. And the third term is I believe starting, that's going to be our September to November term. So we're actually starting quite early on this. So project proposals are running from July 3rd to 23rd. And then mentee applications will open on the 24th and run till the 6th. So that's sort of the state that we're in right now.
Can you suggest me some advice or tips for like getting early starting for the third term of the LFX mentorship? If you have any to suggest for me as a newbie, what should I do for like getting selected or like getting accepted into the program as a mentee?
I'd be happy to talk to you about that. Let's take that offline. Let's I'd invite you to reach out to me on either the mentoring channel on the CNCF Slack or
But what's the name of the channel in the Slack? Like is it like it's hashtag, like what's the name?
hashtag mentoring.
So I can just ping you there to just ask the question, right?
With that, I prefer to have a discussion sort of there than here, because this is more about the administration of the programs.
Alright.
And I'd like to have, I think that the question's a good one, but I'd like to have it in public in the mentoring channel, because other people are going to have a similar, a lot of folks have that same sort of question in mind. So it's good to have a discussion at the end.
Pardon me for that. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, if there are no further questions, it looks like contributor growth. There are no updates for now, and then maintainer circle also, but we're looking for leadership.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so that's
Nate.
actually a major update, which is I talked to Dave Sudia at Cloud Native SecurityCon, and he is officially stepping down as leader of that because he's realized he will not have time for it anytime this year. I mean, he's interested in coming back and working on it, but his job does not currently leave him with any free time at all. Yeah.
I'd like to suggest we reach out to George Castro. I think that he is doing something around the maintainer circle. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Okay.
But if he's looking to be involved, I think that might be an interesting resource.
Okay. Yeah, and then that might be helpful, right? Because if there was somebody else helping with logistics, I could probably come up with topics and meetings to have. It's just putting together the whole thing is a little bit beyond the amount of extra time that I have right now.
Yeah. Again, I don't know exactly what he wants his role to be, but I think it's worth probably having the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be everything that is on the agenda. So the rest is open. We're open for questions or comments or anything spontaneous.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
will
have
then-
something, right? Yes.
I will then throw in my topic. So we moved forward to update our README and move all our things according to the template. The next thing that requires attention is our charter, which is in the TOC repo. So we had 2 versions, and we discussed that the charter is well outdated. I think the TOC repo is about 3 years old. So I would like some I'm more than happy to help work on it, but I would like some guidance. How would we want? Do we copy it out, stick it in a Google Doc, and we collaboratively update? What would be the best practice for us?
I think so. Given how out of date it is, I think we're going to have a lot of changes. So probably sticking it somewhere that we can, that all of us can, add comments or modifications might be a good idea.
Okay, I'll copy it out, I'll share it around, and then we collaboratively update it, and I'll make the PR to get it back in. So I'll help carry the load, but I need the inputs from all the peoples. Thanks.
I actually also forgot to mention 2 things. I did sign up for a kiosk for the deaf and hard of hearing working group, and for a lightning talk as well. And that almost, so I signed up for that. Like I mentioned, because you have to say that you are interested, and at the same time there is like the maintainer track where you have to submit it. And that's something, the deadline is coming up and I forgot to do that. So Sandeep, that's something our team should think about what we wanted to do, because we have to write that. But that's for KubeCon. Yeah, we definitely wanted to take advantage of those two things.
So wait, do we have to submit the session and ask for the kiosk at the same time?
Yeah, so
let's say different deadlines. No?
Yeah, so last time the project lightning talks were separate, because I think they kind of provided that after the maintainer session CFP closed. And now in the same forum, you can do both. You can do a lightning talk and a maintainer track.
The implication, by the way, is it's one or the other.
I did ask and they said no.
Okay, I've heard differently, just because they're expecting to run out of slots. So
Yeah,
it's
and
highly
I
unlikely
know-
that any group will get both.
Oh, because I did ask that specific questions because the maintainer track was basically always guaranteed. And so I did ask what the implications were for the lightning talk, if
Okay.
that could disqualify you from,
I would ask and let them say no. If in fact they want to say no.
Yeah.
So
So I would say if you're submitting the lightning talk, definitely put a note in there saying, hey, right, if we have to choose between a full maintainer session and a lightning talk, we'll take the maintainer session.
yeah, of course.
So that they know our preference. I mean, this group may be treated specially because it's CNCF and we have a bunch of different topics.
and the focus is going to be very different, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to admit the answer was a little cryptic. But said it doesn't change anything, like reform was like, so maybe you're, yeah. So maybe it was a, yeah. So I'll try to get, yeah, let's put that in the comments and or additional info, whatever the field is called. And I will follow up on that and try to get a yes or no. Just to be sure. But good point. Thanks for letting me know, because that's relevant. Anything else?
Well, I'm working with Destiny on the proposal for the full maintainer session. And we'll get it in before the deadline. We have until the 22nd, so.
Yeah, there's still a little time. But I'm Fleiss, so we'll be here in no time. Okay, so I guess everyone gets 30 minutes back. Very sad. Everyone is very sad, I know.
Please,
Bye.
tweet about,
Bye.
and breathe, if you have a chance.
Can you,
Thank
Nate, can you post a link to what we're supposed to retweet in the,
Yep.
just repost it in the tag contributor strategy so I can see it and retweet it. That'd be
Will
helpful.
do. Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.